So he has no idea what pitch I'm going to throw at him. Blue, he's swinging, and red, he's taking. Ready? Good, he knows to take it. And blue, he's swinging. Awesome. So again, have your players line up. He doesn't know which one's coming. Blue, he's swinging, very good. Good, and red, he's taking. Again, getting your players to understand the concept of what's a ball and what's a strike. We use these all the time, all right? These are safe. Your guys can do soft toss to each other. You don't have to worry about guys getting hurt, and it's a great drill to kind of get your guys focused before the game. Next drill here, we'll just have a T station. So you're gonna stand on this side, and we're gonna hit in the same direction you were just hitting. Oh, you're a lefty, my bad. So same thing, you can have one guy feeding the T, and Quinn is just working on whatever drill we were just practicing over there. So let's say we're gonna do some freezing at extension this time. Again, using smush balls so guys don't get hurt. And now we'll do some step backs. Awesome, 2 more. Last one. Good. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is gonna be over here. So what he's doing is we're still working off the tee, or you can just have him take dry swings, but he's actually timing up that coach that's throwing batting practice. So Coach Duke, if you wanna, I'll stand in and pretend to be the batter. You can pretend like you're doing front toss. So Quinn's behind me and all he's doing is shadowing. So I'm gonna pretend like I'm hitting. Coach Duke's doing front toss, and when that ball crosses home plate, he's actually gonna swing. So you can hit it off the tee, all right? Practicing my load. So now you've got 1, 2 on side toss, 2 guys. 2 guys on tee, and the 5th guy here. So you have 6 guys in the batting cage instead of just 1 guy hitting and 11 guys standing in a line. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but create stations. You can have stations set up outside the cages. The key here is to really just keep the kids moving. That's where baseball and softball become boring, when one guy's working and the rest of the guys are watching. Coach Duke, you want to talk about front toss and the importance of front toss maybe instead of just backing up and throwing batting practice?
Sure, the importance of front toss. One of the reasons why we front toss is so that it's a little bit easier. If you have a bad arm and you can't throw strikes, or you're having a difficult time with it, taking an L screen, setting it up, and just working on the timing of front tossing the ball makes it so much easier. The kids are still working on timing, they're still working on their swing, and it's much easier to throw strikes. Now, some people say, well, it's not realistic. You're throwing it so slow when you go underhand, but if you think about it, when the screen is only 20 feet from you, you only need to throw it 20 miles an hour to really to almost make it what a real pitch actually is. So you don't have to front toss it 80 miles an hour because you're only 15 or 20 feet away. So you can soften it up, you can go a little faster, you can challenge them with it, but it's a good way by using front toss to throw strikes. If you can't throw strikes, one other thing I was thinking about while Steve was doing that was, I'm gonna take another one of these tees. We can put a ball on the tee. Coach Steve's gonna pretend like he's hitting. We're gonna pretend that he has a bat. Quinn's gonna put a ball on the tee and he's gonna go. And I'm gonna front toss. But since I can't throw strikes, if I'm a coach that can't throw strikes, watch what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna go behind the screen. I'm just gonna front toss right into the L screen. And these guys are still both gonna swing using the timing. Coach Steve's gonna whack the ball off the tee. Quinn's gonna whack the ball off the tee. So if you're afraid to throw or you're afraid to front toss, that's an easy way to get 2 guys hitting when you're afraid to toss the ball. So I think that's a good drill for someone that's kind of a little nervous to pitch.
It's a lot easier too, even if you want to throw batting practice, to sit on a bucket from 10 feet away and actually throw overhand. It's a lot easier to throw strikes. You don't have to go to 46 or 60 feet to make it useful. Like he said, 25 feet away, throwing 30 miles an hour is just as important or just as beneficial as somebody standing in the back of the batting cage trying to throw BP from 50 or 60 feet.
Got a question. What's a good drill for strike zone discipline? My son is swinging at anything he can reach right now.
It's good. That's a good question.
From Garrett.
So it's getting him to. Coach Josh, you want to answer this one? You wanted to jump right in. Here, Coach Josh, come on in.
throw balls when you're throwing batting practice. So many times that we're used to throwing kids and we're trying to get them as many swings as possible, we throw them strike, strike, strike. So when you get a bad pitch, the kid typically still swings at it. Well, if we throw balls above their head, throw it down on the ground, throw it way outside, and it becomes bad pitches, then they start to understand the strike zone a little bit more instead of just swinging in every pitch that we think that they're going to swing at. That's the best way for...
Yeah, that's a great one. Another good one, I had the 7 balls lined up in front of home plate. Put 7 balls down in front of home plate and number them, and then have your player take batting practice, and after each one, call out which ball they thought it was. You know, ball 1 could be closest to you, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now when they're swinging, you'd be surprised how many kids they'll swing at a ball right down the middle and think it's inside. So just strike zone discipline. Like Josh said, throw balls in batting practice and then also lay those down and actually give them an idea of, you know, what's a strike and what's not.
Some people actually take a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood, put it on a stand, they measure it up and they put it behind the hitter. So you have to actually stand in, the pitcher throws the ball, or the coach throws the ball, and you have to call whether it's a ball or strike or not. If you call a ball and it hits the piece of wood, they know they were incorrect. Or when they watch it, all of a sudden you say strike, and the thing goes flying over the piece of wood. You know, again, it's just a way to try to get them to understand, and for you to understand or to know whether or not they know the strike zone or not. Because if they're saying no, or it's a ball and it hits the thing 5 times in a row, they don't really understand it, or they're having a hard time reading whether it's a ball or a strike. So that's another good way to reinforce whether or not they understand the zone.
There was a question for one of the step back drills. Like what is that like working on?
So step back drill, when you have a player set up on the tee, a lot of players you'll see, their whole body jumps forward. So they'll get to this position, they'll get here ready to hit, and their whole body goes forward without really getting loaded back. It doesn't get them into their back leg at all. We don't really get loaded back. So that drill right there just kind of teaches them to feel themselves get into their back hip, to feel strong on that back side, so they step backwards and then they're pushing forward. Which is a great one to kind of get their body working instead of just coming off that back leg and jumping or lunging towards the pitcher.
What's something that we can do when there's kids that are afraid of getting hit by the ball? We hear this all the time. You know, my son's got hit by the ball, and now all of a sudden he's stepping out of the batter's box. He's bailing out. He's more worried about not getting hit than actually hitting the ball. Yeah. So can you talk about kind of what we do about that, and we teach them how to get out of the way of the ball properly?
Yeah, so we'll teach our guys actually how to get hit. Because a lot of guys, they'll stand in the batter's box, like Coach Duke said, they'll be nervous to get hit, and their first move is this. But the last places we want to get hit are on the front of our body. So we got to teach them how to get hit by the ball first. So what we'll do is we'll say if that ball is coming at us, we want to drop the barrel, we want to tuck our chin down, and we want to turn so that we get hit in the bigger, stronger parts of our body, whether it be in your leg or your butt or your back. But if we do this and we get hit in the face or we get hit in the stomach, it's going to hurt a lot more than if we just turn in. So we're going to get to this position here, and Coach Duke, he can be flipping softy balls at me, T-balls, and every once in a while he's going to mix one in, and I have to learn to drop the barrel, tuck my head, and turn this way and get hit as I'm getting out of the way of the ball instead of doing one of these and wearing one. So mix them in, like Josh said, mix in balls. We'll mix in a couple squishy ones and toss them at them and get them used to how to get hit, comfortably get out of the way, and hopefully not wear one off the chest. Another question? Good? Awesome.
One of the things I was thinking about, Coach Steve, do you want to show, because a lot of times you hear the word hitting, okay, let's break up into hitting, and all of a sudden all they do is throw batting practice. Can you show us, can we go set up a station of where the smush balls and kind of set up a couple different home plates and show how we kind of get more guys interactive when it comes to the hitting, so it's not just one guy taking batting practice, 13 guys in the field, and you know, for the next hour and a half, guys are getting 12 swings at a piece, and that's it, opposed to breaking it down into, you did a great job showing the stations there, but seeing some overhand pitches maybe with the smush balls.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to set up some stations around the field now.